Uh, I just had somewhat of a good power nap. I'm just deciding what to play. Not sure. Ugh. Hey, Ratchet, what's up? Ugh. I was helping my old man, and then after coming back, I had to take a long power nap. But, anyways, we are now officially already in the month of March. Somehow, it just came by so quickly. We're already going through the first quarter of the year. But on the bright side, spring's coming soon. I mean, depends where you live. Unless you live in California, it's already summer, or more like summer every day. I'm just deciding what to play. There is stuff that came out recently. Ninja Gaiden 4 just launched their DLC. I completely forgotten or didn't remember when the release date for that one was. I think it's called The Two Masters. Ryu and Yakumo get new weapons. There's a it's not a very long uh, story content, but there is story content. But there's also extra game modes. All that for just $20. And no, unfortunately, to some folks who wish it were a thing, but Ione is not playable. Well, who knows if Team Ninja and Platinum, if they have the time and money, and if they want to, they could. That's the thing with single player games. If there's support, and if the devs have time to do so, yeah, then they could do it. If not, then most likely they'd be working on the next project. In this case, Ninja Gaiden 5. You know there's going to be a 5. We all know there's going to be a 5. It's not going to just end with, you know, a fourth game and then you're already introduced to a new character. That's like if DMC just ended in 4, introduced Nero, and then that's it. Yeah, right. And yeah, speaking of sequels, hey, yeah, of course, because of the stupid YouTube algorithm, yeah, of course, I saw RE9 content. I could have avoided it, but I was like, nah, it's gonna be a while before I even pick up the game, so might as well see it. Spoilers and all. I won't say anything, don't worry. But I will say the gameplay has me wanting to get it, like, real desperately now. But I can't because, let's see, one, the price tag, ridiculous. Two, there's another horror game that's coming out in March. I think next week, actually. Fatal Frame 2 Remake. And that one, it's not even a full price game. It's it's like in between somewhat. The exact numbers, let's see. Up here in Canada, RE9 is 94.99. Yeah, I know, $100. And Fatal Frame remake 2 remake is 66. That should give you an idea what I mean by somewhat full price. And I've already spent $100 on a game, which was Neo 3. And speaking of which, yeah, I finished that game. I'm just now going through New Game Plus. And New Game Plus brings in so many interesting things to the table. And not to mention, of course, yes, Neo 3 does have a season pass, which contains 2 expansions releasing sometime this year. And just like the first 2 games, there will be new weapons, new locations, new bosses, new challenges, and free updates that includes new higher difficulties. So it doesn't just end with New Game Plus. There will be a New Game Plus plus plus. But somewhere down the line, down in 2026, yes, Team Ninja is, doing some other stuff. Aside of Fatal Frame 2, let's not forget that Dead or Alive 6 has somehow returned. And that the last round comes out, what, June 25th? Along with a free-to-play version if you do not want to jump the gun on buying the game right away. Like me, of course, I'm gonna do that because, yeah, call me biased, but you know what? Dead or Alive 6, Dead or Alive as a whole deserves it. And Team Ninja is already working on 7, so they already got the money. What's a few more bucks in their pockets gonna do any harm? And yeah, even Dead or Alive 6 is getting new content, so amazing that Team Ninja, their minor setback with, everything that they're doing from last year and this year, it's nonstop, which is a good thing. In fact, you know what? They should have had Team Ninja work on the TMNT Rowan. But beggars can't be choosers. Although that would be a dangerous gamble. It's a case of like a Western IP made by an Eastern developer. It could work, but who owns TMNT now? Nickelodeon? Can you imagine that? Nickelodeon walking up to Team Ninja. Hey, we want you to make a TMNT game. Right. A couple of things also did come out and also released. Let's see. I just noticed, not noticed. Yeah. No. I just noticed that Scott Pilgrim X has just came out yesterday. Yeah. I thought that game was going to be out in March, but like mid-March, but came out sooner than expected. Or then again, I haven't been keeping tabs on that. I saw a preview. There's even a demo you can download on Steam because of the Steam Next Fest. Wait, isn't that already finished though? I think it's finished. I have the demo still downloaded, but demos can still go offline even when Next Fest ends. No, Next Fest already. Steam Next Fest has already ended. Hmm. Anyways, yeah, I heard some good stuff about Scalp Pilgrim X. It is made by. That game was developed by the Tribute Games Dotemu Dotemu. Yeah, Tribute Games Inc. And yeah, of course, if you're familiar with their games like TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, and the not too long ago they released what was it? The Marvel Cosmic Invasion. So yes, of course, their beat 'em up games are top notch. But I will say, if it's anything better than the Ubisoft Scott Pilgrim game, I'm all for it. Oh man, just thinking about Ubisoft though just reminded me of something. So I think the news just came out recently, either this morning or probably at midnight last night. What was it? The High Guard is dead. The service is going to be officially shut down on March 12th. I think 12th or 14, whatever. And oh boy, I mean, it was the writing was on the wall, but holy smokes, like the devs were really sucking up on that copium. Like first they laid off like 70% of their staff. The secret was out that that a Tencent was actually backing the game, not entirely, just some of it, and and what else? Oh yeah, and part of that copium was uh, something that didn't age well. Clearly, they said something like, "We don't need a large player count to have a successful game." Yeah, they said something like that. I'm sorry, but whoever said that within Wildlights, that's honest. No offense, but that's really high levels of copium. That's like everybody knows your game has to be successful with that large player count, especially as a live service game. Think about it. Why do you think Genshin succeeded? Why do you think Apex Legends succeeded? It's because those games came out as anticipated games, except for Apex Legends. That was like a shadow drop, I remember. But Apex Legends has a good reason why it succeeded. It came out when Battle Royales was hot in the market. Simple as that. And yeah, it was when the same people who made High Guard, they were again working at Respawn Entertainment. Respawn made a name for themselves for games like Titanfall, and then I don't know when Jedi Fallen Order came out. Was it after? Did Jedi Fallen Order came out after Apex or before? Either way, Respawn made a name for themselves. Battle Royales was hot. That's it. That's why Apex succeeded, and High Guard was. It just came out at a bad time. It came out as of the days of when, as of now, battle royales, live service games are, you know, suffering from fatigue. And just because you slap in the word from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, that's not going to be enough to convince the consumers like, oh yeah, this game's going to be good. Not only that, aside of the copium, the devs had nothing but positivity. Like you should have seen some of the quotes from one of the staff. They were like so Mr. Positive, saying that the game absolutely cannot fail. Like, look, I understand, like, positivity is good to, you know, have when you're making a good game, but you can't just look at it as a one sided battle. No, think about it. Think of all those war movies where you think the one side that has millions of troops versus the other side only has like 5,000. Do you think you still have the advantage? No, because hey, who knows? Maybe the faction with 5,000 troops could actually win. And in this case, yes, it did. But anyways, no. The point is, Wildlight should have they made a lot of mistakes. Aside of the obvious with Jeff Keighley, I'm sure he's feeling very well. Jeff Keighley, oh boy, I'm sure he's lost for words. And he even made a tweet saying, "In 48 hours, I am accept. What did he say? I'm expecting apologies or something like that." But no, yeah, High Guard. What it should have done was, instead of being a hero shooter, it should have just been a successor to Titanfall. When was the last time you played an FPS game with a mech? And instead of being a live service game, it should have just been a full price game. And they should never have taken 10 cents money because they went out of their way to call themselves an indie company and try to get, and they said, like, they're trying to step away from the AAA mindset. Well, excuse me. And then on top of that, instead of shadow dropping, they should have done playtest. Apex Legends again shadow dropped, but it came out at the right time, and it was all the hype when it came out. High Guard came out when the world just was tired of hero shooters, live service games. Where's the single player games? That's what they should have done. And 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 just because you label yourself as indie, which they weren't at all, doesn't mean it's guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to succeed just because you say you're indie and you think you can join the indie games club, try to pretend you're the cool kid. That's not how the world works now. At the end of the day, just you got to make a good game that people would definitely buy. But that's exactly kind of the problem at the same time. Like, again, Wildlight thought High Guard was going to succeed full non-stop. And then, yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we are. It only lasted 3 months to Concord. uh, and there, and because of that, thanks to High Guard, guess who's next on the line? Marathon by Bungie. But don't feel bad for Bungie, because remember, this is not the same Bungie that we know and love. You don't support this Bungie just because of the logo. This is not, reminder, this is not the same Bungie that made Halo. Those people left a long time ago. And you know what people are calling it? They're calling it the, what was it called? They're calling it the Concordian era. I did enjoy the test beta. At least Marathon had a test beta. And see, that's the thing. That is the thing that High Guard was missing. It needed a test, a beta, and then, take player feedback and fix the game before in the full release. So at least Marathon succeeded on that one. Yeah, I heard like some people that tried out the game, they said like, hey, yeah, it's not so bad. It's not as bad as what people are calling it, the third Concord. Well, yeah, those are people coming from people who haven't even played the beta. And no, I haven't played it myself, and no, I'm not going to agree to those people in the echo chamber. But yeah, I am basically repeating what is being said in the echo chamber. But am I part of it? No. Because again, I haven't gone hands on with Marathon, so I can't have a say whether it's good or bad. But I will say, not in my interest. Not yet. Especially with a bunch of games coming out this year. Again, Dead or Alive 6, Fatal Frame, RE9, and a couple of indie games like Scalp Pilgrim. So, you know, got my hands a little full, or hands and mind. Oh yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 DLC, and I have a funny little story to tell. But before that, yeah. So at least, yeah, Marathon. At least Marathon had again a test, and people actually don't mind it at all. Honest, and I'm not want. I don't want Marathon to fail. Of course not. But I think in this point, Bungie needs to tread carefully if they want to support their next big hitter. They got to listen to player feedback, and of course, drop do their best to drop some updates every now and then. New content, new maps, and all that sort. Somehow keep the game pace and keep the game pace interesting enough to at least just enough to get people to come back and play more. That's what I am trying to imply. Because that's when you have a game that makes you want to play more out of it, then then that's how you know the devs actually made a good game. Again, simple example. Uh, I was gonna say Genshin again, but yeah. I mean, I don't know Genshin's numbers now, but yeah. Or whatever game that you're playing nowadays. If you ever ask yourself why you're still playing the game, the multiplayer game today, then yeah, because it's good. That's all you need to say. It's more than enough to tell you. Yeah. First experience of an extraction shooter. Ah, okay. No. Okay, I get now. I get your vibe. There was a bit of some toxic moments from Bungie. I don't know if it was from Bungie or I don't know. Like I heard from the grapevine, somebody from Bungie said that Marathon's going to be the Arc Raider killer. Again, I don't know if it was said by Bungie or somebody else out there. Like, good. I mean, competition rivalry is okay. It's good to have, but I wouldn't go out of my way to dare say that. You can only call it a Arc Raiders killer once you actually start seeing the numbers in the first month. That is assuming if Marathon survives in the first month. Or I guess in this case, 3 months just to beat High Guard. But hey, at least so far so good. If people are liking it, that's a good start. But yeah, again, don't get the wrong idea. I don't want to see Marathon fail. And I think for those who have played the demo, the beta test, I'm sure they all have the same mindset. In fact, yeah, I think extraction shooters are is kind of like the new trend, isn't it? I mean, yeah, there's been plenty of like extraction shooters before Arc Raiders, but I think, in my opinion, I think Arc Raiders set the bar high. Yeah, it set the bars high, and then now we have Marathon, and then there's that game. What's it called? For Loop. For Loop is like another extraction shooter, right? And I guess Helldivers 2 is more or less kind of like one, if I'm not mistaken. Well, you're not looting anything, you're just following objectives, and then you extract. So I guess battle royales are just cut and dry, and now we're doing extraction shooters today. If that's the case, I don't mind seeing more extraction shooters. After seeing Arc Raiders, sure, and yeah, a Helldivers 2, I wouldn't be surprised that if that's the next trend for shooters. All right, enough of that. That little personal story that I mentioned earlier. So, a couple of weeks ago, I woke up in a cold sweat. Well, sarcastic. I didn't actually sweat. Figuratively speaking, I was like, I just woke up and realized, wait, I have a PS3. So as soon as I woke up and realized that, I went into my closet, grabbed my container full of where my PS4, PS3 are, and I was like, do I still have the plugs? And yeah, HDMI, power outlet, and then I was like, wait, but do I still? Does it still work? Can it boot up? And yeah, it does. And then more and more questions kept popping up in my head as I was like hooking up my PS3, and I was like, does does the PlayStation Store even work? Can I still re-download my old games? I have only 3 physical PS3 games. Does the disk drive still work? And short answer, mostly yes. The only thing that partially works, surprisingly, is the PlayStation Store. And yes, then I remember the story how Sony said they were going to shut down the PS Store for PS3 users. But then I remember then Sony took notice, heard the feedback, and said, yeah, no, we're not going to close it, but we are going to change the login method and payment method and all that sort. Apparently, you can still buy Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the PlayStation 3 store. And a couple of other random games. But yeah, I didn't bother looking at that page. I went straight to my all the games and DLCs that I bought. Yeah, the re-download page. And holy smokes, I had 777 downloads. Mostly consist of DLCs. Excuse me. From Dynasty Warriors DLC, Samurai Warriors, Dead or Alive 5. Yeah, remember Dead or Alive 5 was a PS3 game. And yeah, I had Sonic Adventure 2 Battle there before getting it on Xbox. So I even bought Soul Calibur 2 HD on my PS3. Yeah, I'm like, huh. It was like a nostalgic trip. So yeah, I re-downloaded a couple of games. Call of Duty Classic, Medal of Honor Frontline, the HD remastered, Drakengard 3. Oh boy. I remember when Drakengard 3, they were not going to release it outside of Japan, but Square Enix did it by the last minute. But they had to resorted to making it digital download only. A time when PS3 games, certain PS3 games, they wouldn't get a physical release outside of Japan, so usually digital download would be like their last resort. Surprisingly, I was able to hook up the PS3 with my PS5 controller, because yes, it turns out you can actually use your PS5 and PS4 controller on a PS3. But the downside, not all games work with the controller. The only ones that could is PS1 titles. So I did a lot of testings. Oh, but I spent more than half the day re-downloading a bunch of games, so I couldn't do that many testings. So I have to now go out of my way to find a PS3 controller. Literally, like seriously, I couldn't even. When I tried Medal of Honor Frontlines, I couldn't even shoot or aim. The shoulder buttons don't even work. But hey, at least I got to play the first few minutes of Silent Hill 1, and I was hit with nostalgia, man. It was beautiful. The classic Akira Yamaoka music, and just the thought that Silent Hill 1 is getting a remake. So the unfortunate part, however, as much as I really want to stream PS3 games, I can't. My Elgato, because of the modern tech, it doesn't show up on screen whatsoever. Very unfortunate. And then how to stream PS3 games with the current Elgato capture card that I have, and it sounds very technical, a little complicated. I have to apparently buy a splitter, but the splitter has to have an AC power, and I'm like, ugh. Like, no, I'm not going to go through all that extra cost and more power into my room. Okay, no, I'm not doing that. I want to, but mm-mm. Like, how do I know if I bought the right splitter? How do I know if it's going to work? How many more splitters am I going to buy until it works? And yeah, how do I know if the splitter works on the PS3 and the current Elgato that I have? Yeah, and the risk is, money being wasted if it doesn't work. And it's a B and a half just to, go through returns, and I'm not doing online order returns. No, thank you. So yeah, unfortunate. If I could, I really wish I could stream Silent Hill 1 right now, or Call of Duty Classic. And speaking of which, Call of Duty Classic had leaning. You're telling me after Call of Duty 1, Infinity War got rid of leaning and brought it back only when it was necessary in the modern Call of Duty today? I don't know, that just feels backwards. But yeah, back in the day when Call of Duty was all about World War II games. But yeah, I can only play those my old PS3 stuff off stream, unfortunately. If I if I had the ability, if I could find a way to make it work, or I mean, I did already found a way, but I mean, like, if I could stream it, I had the thought, like, as soon as I was relieved that my PS3 was still working, the thought came into my head. I should get the God of War collection that comes with 5 games. I can finally get Transformers Fall for Cybertron because Activision Xbox refuses to bring it back on the Xbox store because apparently they lost the data, but then they're gaslighting people saying they didn't lose the data. I don't know who to believe. So you know what? Like Thanos said, I'll just do it myself. I'll just buy the PS3 copy. And yes, guess what? It's $100. Well, yeah. Well, I spent $100 on Dead or Alive Venus Vacation, a Japanese only release game. And yeah, Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron is it's reasonable to be $100 because it's a physical copy and it's a game that hasn't been re-released. It was re-released, but then Activision be like, "Hey, we're gonna delist it without warning. Sorry." Just like what they did with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. Unless you were fortunate enough to already download it before it got delisted, then yeah, you could re-download those right now. I still have I can still access Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 on my PS5. Speaking of which, I haven't even I've finished the first game, but I never finished the second. Hey man, I played 3. I gotta at least try 2 and finish it twice because I know Ultimate Alliance 2 has like 2 endings, right? Yeah, because like it's based on the Civil War. Whose side are you on? Captain America or Iron Man? Or I guess it's or I think Nick Fury was like the villain, wasn't he? Yeah, I think he was. Despite being on going under fire, literally, Ubisoft still has the audacity to make another Assassin's Creed game. Because apparently they just teased what the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be about. Witches. Yes, witches. Witchcraft. I don't know. I think it's dubbed as Assassin's Creed Hexa or something like that. What is Assassin's Creed about, anyways? I thought it was about finding the apple, stopping the Templars. I guess none of that even matters anymore, does it? And Tencent, I know they're gonna be mad. They're gonna be like, what the fudge are you doing, Ubisoft? Do you really want us to take your entire company? Yeah, you know what? If Ubisoft has to be sold entirely to Tencent, I would just point and laugh. I don't care if they're done. At least if it's in the hands of real game developers with a passion and that understands that in order to gain money and stay operational, you got to make a good product. It's that simple. A product that people actually want to buy. Yet Ubisoft is basically they're playing a Telltale's game, but they're making all the bad choices. That's what they're doing. They're playing a D&D session, but making all the stupid decisions that gets all of their party members killed, and buying the worst items. And I don't know. I never played D&D, but I do know about tabletop RPGs. Thanks to Genshin. Yes, I learned about tabletop RPGs because of Genshin. Where am I? Oh, wait. I think I know where I am. Oh, excuse me. Solid Snake is in Rainbow Six Siege. At least Rainbow Six, being the only Ubisoft game, is, still alive and well. Yeah, I saw that. Some people had mixed feelings, but I say it's kind of cool. Hey, at least Konami, they're still spreading the good name of the great Solid Snake to to other games, IPs. And you know what? Yeah, sure, why not? I welcome it. But it's not gonna make me play Rainbow Six. Sam Fisher and Snake team up finally. About damn time. You could say Snake kept Sam waiting. You really kept him waiting. Oh boy, did I wake up a whole yeah, I did. Entourage over. Some folks in Fortnite were surprised that Epic Games went out of their way to make the Honkai collaboration for Fortnite really good. I don't know the exact details, but some are saying the collaboration was like the most effort that Epic Games has ever put out. I bought the Kafka set. At least you didn't have to gotcha for it. Am I right? Now we finally have a game. Now we have, let's see, Kafka just being in a game where Ryu, Wolverine, Rick and Morty are in together. Like, huh? Wait, what? Oh, and John Wick as well, of course. It's definitely bizarre, but it works. Oh yes, and Hatsune Miku. Once again, step aside, Smash Brothers. Fortnite keeps home the trophy of most bizarre but awesome crossover game. And yeah, obviously no other game's gonna top that. As long as Epic Games keeps up with all the constant updates, cosmetics for Fortnite, Fortnite ain't going anywhere. And the truth is, there will never be a successor to Fortnite whatsoever. Oh, come on. Now you want me to go up? Never. There will never be a successor to Fortnite whatsoever. That's your price? Okay. Uh-oh. It's a Kappa. This tree. I'll be. Or no, Wasp. So far, Resident Evil 9 has the... Somebody has speedrun the game and finished it in less than 2 hours. Yes. Of course, I'm not surprised by that. A game that, so far I've seen a lot of people have finished it in 10 hours, which is, again, the average time for any even for casuals to finish a Resident Evil game. And yeah, of course, only 2 hours. Should I go that way? No, there's a Kodama there. I also saw a video of all the things that Leon can parry. And something tells me Capcom really did love the parry mechanic that they implemented in RE4, because holy smokes, that hatchet that Leon brought in, and the fact that it can break, but at least you don't need, there's no shop to repair it. You just sharpen it and then that's it. It's way too OP. Maybe that's different in what's that called? Insanity mode? I haven't seen what Insanity mode does, but I imagine items are placed differently. And of course, yeah, the typical enemies are stronger and faster. Freaking Jack from RE7. I remember the first time I tried playing Madhouse. Holy smokes, he runs way too fast. And because items are placed differently in Madhouse difficulty, yeah, I really couldn't. It's way too difficult for me to deal with. Nowadays, some folks, for those who have finished RE9, some folks are kind of like wondering, like, was Ethan's existence did it even have a point at all? Did RE7 and 8 even need to happen? I mean, realistically, yes, just to get the franchise back up to its prime days. But at the same time, like, what was Ethan's purpose? did the mold really matter? Well, I leave that to the fans to figure that out. Because, you know, I was also pondering about that. Well, I guess we'll have to wait for the future installments. Because, yeah, now that, you know, this ends the... Actually, you know what? I can't even call it a trilogy. If it would have been called a trilogy if Resident Evil 9 continued the story about the whole mold thing with Evelyn. So, what can we call it then? If not a trilogy. Well, it's somewhat of a trilogy. Yes, no, kind of. Well, you're having a hard time getting through. It's just rocks. Huh, I figured. I've heard some people say RE9 was a little too easy. But that's mostly coming from, you know, Resident Evil fans. Of course, there's a first of all, Leon. Again, he can practically parry a lot of things. And then the hatchet doesn't really, the hatchet doesn't break, it just wears down. And all you need to do is just, you know, sharpen it. The only thing for sure that stands out the most is Grace's gameplay. The amount of scares and surprises. Of course, yeah, only that part of the game is where I say RE9 shines the most. Oh, okay, I see. Just imagine though, RE9 VR. There's definitely going to be a VR mode for PlayStation and PC users. So get ready to see. Oh geez, get ready to see those monstrosities up close. Yeah. Who's next? Is that all? Come on. In a Souls-like situation, getting ganged up by 5, 6 people is already bad enough, but that's all you got? Then again, the situation would have been different if I was using a sword. Spear makes it a little too easy. Your sword is mine! Oh yeah, speaking of which, hang on. Oh, I just remember something. No, that I still have that build. Shiny one in there. No. Pokemon revealed Gen 10, yeah. Oh yeah. The Pokemon percent wasn't too bad. A lot of predictable stuff. And then yeah, they revealed Gen 10. Looks like we're going to the Maldives. At least I don't know exactly where Gen 10 takes place, like where the location is inspired from, but it definitely has the Maldives in there. And underwater exploration. So that's good. I don't know. I haven't played Pokemon any of the mainline Pokemon games in a while, but some are saying it's a returning mechanic. I don't know. As far as my Pokemon knowledge goes, despite the lack of, with the lack of any mainline games I've played, I don't think underwater exploration was ever a thing in the main lines, right? Or is this the first time? Oh man, you're the only one left. The starters don't look too bad. As always, as always, there's got to be one among that's a favorite right off the bat, and it's the dog. Of course, it's always the doggo. And so far nobody was a fan of the gecko, unfortunately. I guess water types are too overrated. And then we have a bird. But yeah, so far people are saying it's really good. It looks good. Like the graphics have really improved, as it should be, especially when you compare the last game, Scarlet and Violet, to Winds and Waves. That's the next title, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, it really needed that graphical upgrade, as it should, since it's a Switch 2 exclusive. Sorry, Switch 1 owners, but you're gonna have to upgrade if you want your next-gen Pokemon. Although the environments do look really good, the Pokemon, on the other hand, they still more or less look less or just the same as the last game. I mean, I guess they could try to add in like fur textures for the furry type Pokemons. Like, look at Pikachu. Pikachu's got like some sort of like fur on him or her. Why not just do that? And what was it? There was like something else. Oh yeah, and it's coming out next year here, which shouldn't be a surprise. I'd say, oh Jesus. Also, wait, what? Oh, there was like another way. Okay. All right, Tubby, let's go. I'd say it makes sense that it would come out next year, because Game Freak. Guess what? As a quick reminder, they do have another game in the work. And Nintendo would have been, not Nintendo, not just Nintendo, but the Pokemon Company would have been, they would have been jerks if they didn't give Game Freak some time to work on their current game that they're working on. Oh jeez, how am I alive? Alright, bonehead. Oh shit, right, I forgot. This is the harder version now. I'll deal with you, bonehead. Oh, jeez. Not... Alright, now you. Wait, you're not a skeleton. I was expecting another skeleton warrior. Anyways, yeah, quickly rephrasing what I said. Yeah, considering that Game Freak is currently working on, what was it, Beast of Reincarnation? I think that's what it's called, right? And it's scheduled to come out this year, right? August. The Pokemon Company and Nintendo would have been in the lightest way I can say, they would have been jerks if they demanded Game Freak to work on Pokemon and release it on the same year. But fortunately, that's not the case. Nintendo and Pokemon Company, they know that Game Freak already has their hands full on one big, fresh new IP game. Time to take out the stick. And actually, no, this is going to be the fun part. Oh yeah, that's right. This moment just reminds me of something. Man, the dog is doing more damage. This reminds me, Onimusha is coming out this year, ain't it? Well, who spotted me? Oh, false alarm. Doggo again. Excuse me. Oh yeah, wasn't there a move that I had? Yeah. Where's the last guy? Is he up here? Oh, there he is. Till next time. Anyways, yeah. So, at least the Pokemon Company and Nintendo is giving giving Game Freak a sense of relief. It would have been not only that, it would have been a big jerk move if both games came out at the same time. Because if that happened, you know which game would sell more than the other. And it would be completely unfair for Game Freak, you know, for once. Well, actually, this is not the first time, but you know, for once to be working on such a big major project, and you know, they have to succeed in their own way without, you know, working on some popular IP like that is Pokemon. And clearly, you can see the potential that Game Freak has. You go from working on the most worldwide popular IP that is Pokemon to, well, what Beast Reincarnation is. Oh, okay, wait, I'm dumb. Oh, wait, no. Broken door. It's like, huh, you thought Game Freak was can only just focus on making good looking characters and cool looking monsters. Nah, man. They can go out of their way to make a. People are calling it a Stellar Blade lookalike. At least Beast of Reincarnation does the companion beast thing better than that PlayStation game. What's it called? The Last Guardian. Remember when that game was like revealed and teased, and I didn't understood the hype. Not even from first impressions. It's just a game about a boy and a dog going on an adventure. Some like I don't know. What was the hype for all that about? And then yeah, of course, when the game came out, it was like, okay, all that hype for nothing, or that's what the game is all about. Oh, you can. Oh, sorry, did I chip your nails? Yeah, he's mad. My nails! I just polished them! One enemy at a time. Yeah, okay, wait your turn. Alright, fine. I'll make it move. Once again, people are calling Neo 3 too hard of a game. So hard, in fact, there was somewhat of a patch that they added recently where people couldn't even get past the first boss. So, they just before you enter the first boss fight, they have a grave where you can summon an ally. So you know how like there's bloody graves, and then the other one is called benevolent grave. Benevolent allows you to summon another player's like character loadout and such. It's not direct co-op. It's just you're using like you're summoning an ally, a bot that uses the player's equipment set. So, but yeah, Team Ninja deployed their own benevolent grave, and it was it's actually the second protagonist from the it's the protagonist from the second game. What's his name? Hide. And unlike most benevolent grave allies, Team Ninja made their version invincible. That's how it's. So instead of nerfing the boss, because the first boss, yes, is a bit challenging, but he's a bit slow too, where you can time your dodges. But apparently thousands of people couldn't even get past him. So yeah, you can now just summon the second protagonist, Hide, and have him assist you. And yeah, again, he's invincible, so you don't have to worry about him dying. And yeah, the game does have, there is 3-player co-op, as usual, just like the first 2 games. So, hey, yeah, if you're struggling, you can always just do that. That is an option. You can probably, I think you can even play the entire game in co-op. I think even during the open world exploration. Although not, I imagine not all the levels. I'm sure there's like story content that you cannot do in co-op for the sake of spoilers. No more wood. I mean, it can't carry any wood, I mean. I am full on wood. Right, that's not the input. Oh, well, that's a bit of a problem. Now it's like permanently stuck on my map. Then again, I've already collected most, if not all, the items. I'm gonna assume I did. You're a bat! Fly up! Where am I now? Can't open from there. No doubt, Pokemon Winds and Wave is gonna be $100. Remember back when Tears of the Kingdom was like $10 more than the usual Switch 1 price? And then Nintendo was like, yeah, don't worry, future Switch games will not be like that. Well, to be fair, the wording isn't a lie. They said Switch 1 games wouldn't be that expensive. But then again, now I just remember that Metroid Prime 4 is the same price as Tears of the Kingdom. Just another case of don't believe what Nintendo says. Just like how they said, yeah, don't worry, folks. Even with the Switch, the 3DS game will console, 3DS will never die. It will still coincide. And literally the next year after that, 3DS just Nintendo just told all game developers to cease making 3DS games because Switch is now all the hot. And Reggie even said the same thing a long time ago. When the DS came out, he says GBA games will not go away for a while. But then 1 year later, GBA games, gone. Done. Even despite the fact that if you remember, the 3DS does have a GBA slot, so backwards compatibility wasn't an issue. I saw a meme that's going on to be 1P. Oh, of course. course there would be a One Piece. Next thing you know, we're gonna actually have a costume for your character to dress up as a pirate. You mean to tell me I have to walk all the way around? Ugh, jeez. Alright, well, if I have to go around, I'll go around. So I was like thinking about like how people were gonna, you know, shorten the name for Pokemon Winds and Waves. But then again, previous games, people didn't really bother shortening the name of every mainline title. Ah, locked, of course. And then I thought, if I wanted to shorten the name for Pokemon Winds and Waves, I would dub it as Pokemon Weewa. Just take the first two letters of each of them. Wind, so we, and then waves, wa. Pokemon Weewa. That would come a little too close to Wuthering Waves, Woo-Wah. Oh yeah, right. There's that Minecraft like Pokemon game. What's it called? How do you pronounce it? Pokopia? Pokopia. I think that's how it's pronounced. Apparently, that game is actually pretty good. At least according to the people who played it. Like first-hand impressions, and then now that it's available to the public, yeah, people are quickly diving into the game. You know why? Because it's Pokemon. But, you know, in a different genre. What's strangely funny is that people are calling it a Pokopia as a dark game because of one context. There are no humans. And you have to remember, your character is a Ditto impersonating as a human. But unless that's 100% confirmed, like, I don't know, you have to play through the entire game. But yeah, people are throwing in, I guess, theories, as one would call it. You're living in where a world of Pokemon where there's not a single human in sight. Think about that. And you're gathering wild Pokemon as you should as a Pokemon game, but not without the need of a Pokeball, of course. So, some are theorizing that Pokopia takes place in a post-apocalyptic era where all humans have ceased to exist. And if that theory becomes true at the end of the game, where really there's not a single human in sight, I'd be down for that. I'd be like, hey, I welcome it. Well, we have a Pokemon game where it may be all sunshine and rainbows and colorful themes, but then it hits you with some I don't know, document lores you find that it turns out humanity has disappeared or gone extinct, whichever one. No, actually, extinct would be a better wording for it. Oh, immune to poison, yeah. Oh god, another one. Yeah, sorry, you may be a yokai, but you can't go through walls or a fence. Ah. How does it feel, huh? Poison and fire, continuous damage. Wait. I'm expecting surprise and jump at me. Uh-oh. Who saw me? Oh. That's... Uh-oh, big boy saw me. Let's fight in a proper area, yes? Is he stuck? Oh. Come on, bonehead. Come at me. Okay. Too much. I saw a video clip of somebody fighting a boss, parrying absolutely everything and no damage, of course, treating it like it's Sekiro. With all the deflecting. And yeah, no, even when he was button mashing away, his stamina would never actually deplete. He just kept going. I mean, yeah, of course, with the proper build, you can turn Neo from a Souls-like game into a Team Ninja game where apparently running out of stamina is not even a concern. It's crazy. But it's to be expected from a Team Ninja game. Ow. Yeah, I'm not a fan of fighting this thing. Okay. Wait, can I cancel out of that if I do that? Yeah, I can. Oh yes, because now you can cancel out of moves. At least that you have to set that up as your passive ability. So where you normally, when you do like an action input, you have to like wait until the action is done before you can do a chi pulse or a mist. But once you unlock the passive ability to cancel, oh boy, then the possibilities. Think of all the possibilities that people can do with it. At the cost, though, you won't be able to recover your chi. That's kind of the problem. So where normally this is like a thing that you do, now you can just cancel. But yeah, no chi pulse. Anyways. Oh wait, there was a path there. Okay. So yeah, of course, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, so that's how that passive, how it works, and okay, that's the potential that people can muster with it. It's scary. The scariest thing is when people dig deep into the lab, whether it's a fighting game lab or an RPG lab, and then they, find ways to exploit a mechanic, and before you know it, they break the game in two, but in a good way at least. And unless the game developers patch something, okay, well, if a game developer patches like an exploit, yeah, not only would that be considered a buzzkill. Oh, right, it's locked. But game devs would look at that as as a unintentional mechanic. Like imagine Smash Brothers Melee if it came out today and wave dashing was like an exploit. No, better example. Mario Kart 8, the original on the Wii U, fire hopping, remember that? But then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out and then fire hopping was completely gone. Yeah, again, that's the case of game developers' unintentional mechanic. So once they look through YouTube, yeah, that's all it takes. You think Nintendo doesn't look at YouTube? They have a YouTube channel. Of course they know YouTube and all of its clips and galore and exploitations. And if they deem as something as fire hopping as unintentional and unfair, that most people wouldn't be able to figure that out, how to do it, then yes, they're going to patch it. Or either that or, re-release the game and remove it completely. But yeah, if Smash Brothers Melee came out with wave dashing and Sakurai patches it, then yeah, again, unintentional mechanic that shouldn't even be there. And one could say, what about Mario Kart World and its parkour mechanic? The way how, like, my God, like I mentioned, and how you could parkour a lot of things in Mario Kart World. No, it's part of the game's play mechanic. So no, Nintendo's not gonna patch it. You have to join in the club of, I need to know how to do Mario Kart parkouring. Otherwise, online matches are not going to be fun. You're going to fall behind. Oh shoot! Right. The the thing. Who is it? The guitar guy. Oh, okay. I would rather keep my distance away from you. Alright, trying to remember where he was. Oh, there he is. It's a yokai. The human is fake. The yokai is the guitar itself. Okay, it's not a guitar. I don't know what they call what's the name of the instrument. But yeah. Oh, this is the area. This is where the optional boss is. Have you done the new event that's going on in Genshin? Not yet. And I really should before I just do it by the last minute. Yeah, no, I gotta do it. I gotta do it as soon as possible. In fact, I should have done that for today's stream. In fact, yeah, the official Genshin YouTube channel has already uploaded the cutscene. Oh no, that's for Varka's story. No, that's a separate thing from the event. But yeah, I gotta do that too. I gotta do Varka's story. But I did play the prologue of the event. You got a weapon skin. I hope it's not a temporary one. Because yeah, Genshin does have weapon skins, but you don't even keep it forever. You only keep it until the end of the season. So unless, oh jeez, so unless that weapon skin is permanent, then yeah, I guess I should definitely do it as soon as I can. Oh, of course. Oh shoot. Well, at least I still have like another week and a half to do it, so. But still, a week and a half can go by fast gaming, and I gotta do it. Oh yeah, and ZZZ's Phase 2 event, Phase 2 banners are live now. I lost my, okay, so I did do the gotcha earlier after I got back home, and I lost my 50-50 to Lyocon, but I was like, that's not so bad, because I lost my 50-50 before reaching the guaranteed. I know, again. Only in the first 10 poll, I already got an S rank gotcha. And despite being a 50-50 loss, I was like, no biggie, I still have enough. And then, yeah, I got the new character, Arya, at the guaranteed. With the pity. So, yeah, it was fine. Sir, I think you are stuck. Too small. We gotta fight outside. No? Okay, fine. I can never get that timing right. All that remains is just one more member. Apparently you get some kind of like, you get a charm, and then you get like an avatar profile pic. And then when you get all 3 members of Angels of Delusion, you get a, what do you call that, like a profile template for your profile thingamajig. Yeah, they lock behind a player profile template behind 3 characters that you need to gotcha. I haven't experimented on the new on Arya just yet. But what I do know so far, based on the demo, whatchamacallit. So yeah, Arya is a either anomaly character, and as you know, with most anomaly characters, except with the exception of Miyabi. Miyabi is a different one, different case. Anomaly characters are best suited for building up element attributes. So in this case, which would be either, But Arya does benefit other elemental attributes, like if an enemy is affected by fire, electric, ice, etc. Plus, she also can inflict what's that effect called? A bloom, which I don't know what it is exactly. I'm just gonna assume it's like a attribute, like an extra damage, extra kick to after inflicting an element. Or I don't know how to explain it. The game does it better. But yeah, she can do that. I thought I saw a spear behind me, but that was just a skeleton. Uh-oh, I think I made the guitar man angry. Are you okay, sir? Oh, okay, I see how it is. Oh wait, I'm pressing the wrong button. Alright, I think I remember somewhere here. Oh no, there he is. Oh wait, hold on, someone spotted me. Or is it you? Wow, another one of those flying things. Excuse me. Did you just fly over that fence? Yeah, you did. Oh boy. I think there's like another dweller here. Man, how many players died in this grave? Oh, hello. I guess you're not a fan of knock-knock jokes. Meet your cousin, who's much better than you. You only draw blue? No, no. Wait, what's the green one called? Exotic. Oh, there's uncommon, rare, exotic, divine. Right. Oh, wait, is there another? No, there isn't. Or am I overlooking? Oh boy, let's see. I guess I should be prepared a little bit. Just a refresh. Oh, whoops. Wrong input. I am burning for some reason. Ow. Wait, he's already poisoned. Again! Only this time, enhanced. Enhanced state. Ow. Go, Scampus! Oh, wait, right. Oh no, they can still reach. I broke your nails, what you gonna do about it, Wolfie? Why so much fire, man? Oh jeez. And you can do it again. Or wait until it respawns. You have anything new? No, you have nothing new. hello. Was this your hidey hole? Oh, that must be for the lock. Yep. I think there was like a big tree branch I can climb on. Yeah, of course. Oh, jeez. What would be the best way? Should I just fast travel there? Yeah, no, I should. Plus, an enemy base has respawned. Yeah, and it's usually the enhanced version. Is it just you two? The wolves have come. Wait, where's the big guy? Wasn't there a big guy among you? There he is. And we invited a yokai. Ow. Oh, now we have a gunner. Oh, not a fan of that. Uh-oh, shit. Not a fan of that either, when somebody decides to grab. When somebody does a command grab, they have super armor. I know you're gonna shoot. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna make him shoot. Or... Somehow the wolf didn't even notice that. Let alone hear that. Damn, that thing goes far. Like a full screen projectile. Dang, I cannot follow up with that. Too good. He's more fierce without his two extra arms. I saw like a photo compilation of the old E3 days, and it was at I think it was pictures of the Xbox booth when Halo 3 was on its way to store shelves. We had 4 hot ladies with the I think it was a Halo 3 standee. I think it was Master Chief standee promoting the game. What happened to those days? There was also, they were doing like giveaways, like a giant Halo 3 Slurpee cup. People lining up at midnight launches for Halo 3. Whatever happened to those days? I know who you are. Shortcut.
大方、俺のことを武田の忍びとでも思ってたんだろう。あやかしの痕跡を調べてただけで、徳川兵には手を出しちゃいない。にしても、俺の元にたどり着くとは、あんた相当できるな。
Uh-oh. Join forces. He's already lost. He already lost track of me. Oh, there he is. Dang. Oi, oi, it's not over yet. Ow. One thing at a time, sir. I knew it. It's always these boneheads. Ow. You didn't even finish him off. Oh no.
俺は風魔小太郎、相模の北条に雇われたし、徳川と武田。武田の面用な軍勢を見たとこ、北条と武田は盟友ゆえ、手出しは役。
No. Ninja for hire for the Hojo clan. Kotaro Fuma. Or, sorry, Fuma Kotaro. And if you've played Samurai Warriors or familiar with it, yes, the same Fuma Kotaro, the guy, the ninja with the red hair. What do you call those? Is it braided or yeah, I think it's braided. The guy who debuted in Samurai Warriors 2 as this edgy ninja that rivaled with Hanzo Hattori. And then after that, he was just, well, relegated to being a side character. not much of a threat to Hanzo. I think it's because fan feedback back then was like, back then Koei made Hanzo look so inferior, and so they made Hanzo badass once again, and Fuma being his equal, and yeah, relegated to just being a side character. But yeah, you're not gonna see that in this version.
あんたか手合わふよし
Goes Campus!
こっちも全力で行くいいだろ見たところ師匠は半蔵だろ面白いじゃないか
Whew, he's got more stamina than before. Ow. Thank you very much. And yes, you can ask for a rematch anytime. Unfortunately, unlike the Crucibles, no, they're not enhanced versions. But at least in New Game Plus, you can choose to have a rematch with him. What time is it now? Ah, 10. Okay. Then I should call it a night.
来てくださったのですね。あやかしの数が多く手を焼いていたところでした。どうかお力添えをいただけないでしょうか。
Let's see. Yep, no, that's fine. Excuse me. So yeah. What day is it today? Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Let's see. This week, not much is happening this week. But next week, Fatal Frame 2 remake comes out. There was like something else that was coming out, but I what else is coming out in March? Oh, I believe... Was it Marathon scheduled to come out? Could have sworn it was supposed to come out this year. I mean, this month. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it or talked about it. Blue Point Games shutting down. I feel like I have. Or then again, it was like all the buzz after the state of play. It's amazing how you can go from delivering a really good presentation to just 180 that and be like, "Oh yeah, we're the same. We at Sony, we're the same company that also has its negatives. You want the negatives? Yeah, Blue Point Games shut down." And then I heard as a follow up, like everybody after people found out that Blue Point Games was shutting down, and all the talks about Bloodborne remake or Bloodborne 2, whatever. And then it turns out like people had to bring up what Miyazaki recently said, like people were saying he's doing the whole he said she said, act a bunch of assumptions. People were like claiming Miyazaki didn't want to do it, but it was a lie. They brought up his actual quote saying that he would be down for it, but they don't have control of the IP. And Sony, they're the ones who had to greenlit it. And then Blue Point Games was like, you know, I think Blue Point Games they did say they were interested in doing a Bloodborne remastered, but again, Sony didn't give them the green light. Yeah, Bloodborne remake from Software says no, but Miyazaki did say that he wouldn't mind. It's just that again, he had no control over the IP. That's a Sony IP. And yeah, Blue Point Games back then when they were still around, they were they were there. They were the cards, the option, the opportunity was there. But one could say it's Sony's fault that they could have told Blue Point Games to commission them to do a remake. But Blue Point had their own sort of like agenda, which was, as you already know, they were going to make a live service God of War multiplayer game, but when Sony saw what they were making, they just basically declined it. Or, yeah, whatever the pitch was turned down. And because Blue Point had not released any game after Demon Souls remake, Sony had to pull the plug because Blue Point Games, again, they didn't make anything. They didn't release any new games, thus making them kind of like, a company that was not making any money for Sony and for themselves. So that's where the unfortunate case happened, where Sony had to close them down. I personally, in my opinion, yeah, I could blame Sony for that. But at the same time, the blame can also be shared to Blue Point. Because think about it, they didn't. They weren't told to make a God of War live service. They wanted to make one. So Blue Point, in a way, Blue Point, of course, they had their own minds, their own business to operate. And that's what they chose. Blue Point, rather than, asking Sony to remaster Bloodborne, they just chose to make a live service game because, well, blame could be shifted. Maybe Sony tempted them to make a live service game, and then Blue Point chose God of War. I don't know, but just put it this way: both sides are at fault. Blue Point made a game that Sony didn't want to make it happen, and they should have just gone with the Bloodborne path, but they didn't. And yeah, Sony, they're at fault for shutting them down. But again, it makes sense, unfortunately. Like, I'm sure even Sony does feel bad, even though their long message didn't felt like one. But clearly Sony knows, like, their history. as much as that Sony could, as much as Sony, I imagine Sony could keep their doors open, keep them operational, but again, Bloodborne, I mean, what was it? When did Demon Souls remake come out? Not too long ago, right? Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Wait, is it? No, that's the PS3 one. Oh, 2020. Demon Souls remake came out in 2020. So which means as of the time when Blue Point shut down, Blue Point did not make any games, no remasters or anything for the past 6 years. Think about it. 6 years, no game that they released. So yeah, Sony had every reason to shut them down. But is it justifiable? No. In my honest opinion, no. Sony could have spent another couple of millions to keep them alive. But just because a company is gone doesn't mean the people are gone. Those people at Blue Point, if they have the money they could spend in their own pockets, they could open up their own studio and make their own Bloodborne or a live service multiplayer game, whatever they choose. But of course, no, Bloodborne remake, remaster, not happening. As long as it's in Sony's hand, yeah, that IP's not going anywhere. Unless From Software steps in and be like, we want to buy the IP back. They could, but think about it. Why not now? Why not the next day? Or after all these years since Bloodborne first came out, why hasn't From Software have already done that? Well, yeah, because I guess people in From Software just don't want Bloodborne to be remade, or they just don't want the IP back. They just want to move forward with what they currently have, which was at the time Demon Souls trilogy, and then Sekiro, Elden Ring, and then that new Switch 2 game coming out, the Dusk Bloods. I guess if I had to make an assumption, like they know, they're aware. From Software is aware that people do want a Bloodborne remake or a remastered, or hell, a Bloodborne 2. But since it's not in their interest to take back the IP, it seems like my assumption is they just want to make new IPs, new games, instead of going back to the old. Otherwise, they could have just done a Dark Souls 4 if they wanted to. But do we have a Dark Souls 4? No. Because they just want to continue making other new games. Hence, Sekiro and Elden Ring. And yeah, and the Dusk Bloods. And whatever comes after that, it'll probably be another IP. Or Elden Ring 2, who knows? Just keep moving forward. They don't want to go back. Unless they choose to. But yeah, until then, that's just how it is. Very unfortunate, and I hope the folks at Blue Point Games, they find another job, another company they can work at that does not fall in the line of live service development. They should, if they could make like a new company, they should start off as independent and like strictly independent that has no AAA mindset, and make a single player game. Single player games are not out of the market. I mean, Sure, Neo 3 is you can play the entire game in co-op, but it's still a single player game. You can treat it as a single player game. And then you have Resident Evil 9. That game already sold more than 2-3 millions in less than a week. Single player games dead, EA? I don't think so. Dustblood doing what Elden Ring did. Stay quiet until the full game trailer. I think they should not do that. I mean, just look at what happened to High Guard. No reveal trailer, goes silent for 1 month, and then 3 days before release, a bunch of showcases, and then... Yeah, no. You do not want to go radio silent. I feel like that's not a thing From Software would ever do. I think what they'll do, just like with Elden Ring, I remember when Elden Ring was also radio silent. But then one day From Software was like, hey, we're going to have a showcase on Bandai Namco's YouTube channel to show off Elden Ring's gameplay, features, and whatnot. I feel like that's what's going to happen with the Duskblood. When From Software has something ready to show for, that's when people, will be ready to see what's in store. They'll see gameplay footages, demonstrations, not tutorials, gameplay mechanics and what to expect. Presentation, showcase, whatever you want to call it. And then somewhere on the lines, they'll show up a release date. We only know so far that it's coming out this year. And yes, it's a Switch 2 exclusive. I don't think it's going to ever be released outside because if you remember from the Nintendo's creator's note, Miyazaki himself said it, that it was they who approached to Nintendo for pitching the idea. It wasn't the other way around. Nintendo didn't ask From Software. Oh, hang on a second. Alright, I'm back. What was I saying? Something about Duskblood. Showcase. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, right. Miyazaki. It was Miyazaki who approached Nintendo. That's where I left off. So yeah, Miyazaki was the one who pitched the idea, and because of that, hey, unfortunately, if you want to play Duskblood, you're gonna have to buy a Switch 2 for that. Why not on PC and other consoles? Because blame Miyazaki. He wanted it to be a Switch 2 exclusive. He approached Nintendo. And it wouldn't surprise me if the game became successful and Nintendo be like, hey, we want to take the IP from you. They already did that with Astral Chain from Platinum. And after that, Nintendo did nothing with Astral Chain. Not even a Switch 2 upgrade. Expect that possibility to happen should the Dustblood be too successful. And it better be, considering I'm from Software, in a way, is taking a gamble here, making a new Souls game exclusively for Switch 2. Hey, at least it'll give people a reason to get a Switch 2, aside of Pokemon Gen 10 and what was the other thing? Well, future Mario Zelda games for sure. But yeah, when it comes to third-party exclusive like the Dustblood, again, if it's good, that's when Nintendo will start seeing Switch 2 consoles fly off the shelves. Speaking of which, I went to recently went to a retail store. There's still a whole stock of Switch 2 consoles. So hey, at least you don't have to worry about scalpers. But at the same time, you probably know why there's still a full stock. I mean, have you seen the price tag? And you better, actually, you know what? You might as well get a Switch 2 as soon as you can before Nintendo starts kicking in a new price tag because of the lack of RAMs. And who you gotta blame? Oh yeah, you know, people who are invested in AI. Same thing, yeah, among them, Microsoft. So you better watch out, man. Switch 2 prices are gonna go up eventually. I think even the same could be said about all the other consoles, Xbox Series X's and PS5s. Man, I really want to get RE Requiem. But there's just too many games coming out this month as well. Or, not too many games, I mean like games that are on my wish list. Fatal Frame and such. Anyways, what time is it? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess I will stream whenever I can stream. What was it? At least for next week. Wait, March 12th is a Friday or is it Thursday? It's a Thursday. So Fatal Frame comes out next Thursday. Oh my god, and we're gonna have another Friday the 13th. We just had one in February, and now we're having another. That's somewhat kind of rare. We're having Jason Voorhees coming twice. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I did see that tweet from Ed Boon. He mentioned Killer Instinct. Now, that doesn't mean he's gonna make a Killer Instinct game. Or is he? Well, I guess in this case, after that tweet and poll, he did a poll recently with that tweet. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. And hey, if it means bringing back KI and making it exclusively on Xbox, please do not port it on PlayStation. Hell, don't even put it on PC. Okay, fine, put it on PC, but again, if Xbox wants to give people the reason to buy the damn console, and I guess even the Xbox Ally ROG Ally, then yeah, you gotta make your next game like Fable and yeah, the next KI if you could make it exclusive to Xbox. Don't bring it to PlayStation. Hell, don't even bring it on Switch too. Otherwise, yeah, really, what's the point of getting an Xbox then? People are even calling it out. It's this year could be the end of Xbox. So unless Microsoft could act up properly and understand they need to bring back exclusivity, if they can just do that, they can save Xbox. They can save and give people a reason to buy an Xbox. But if they can't do that, that's it. This year could be the end, or even the next year. And trust me, and believe me, I wouldn't want that. I want Xbox to continue living on, considering that Sony is already thinking about the PS6. And I'm not sure about Nintendo, but hey, if the Switch 2 is doing well according to them, another Nintendo console is not out of the question. So yeah, gotta bring back console exclusive games to keep up the war and to keep Microsoft into the gaming console market. Anyways, alright. I said enough. Alright, I will then see you guys in the next stream. You folks have a good day and a good night. See you, folks.